Mel Sherry G. Welcome back to the channel. I have some commentary on this past Saturday's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. But before I get into it, keep in mind that the views expressed in this video are all alleged, of my opinion, and those who choose to comment down below in the comment section, and it is all for entertainment. So, yes, this past Saturday was the first episode of the brand new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm just going to call it the new season because, like I stated before, Martel called it season 4B or C or something like that. OWN has it listed as season 6. And Carlos King on his live with Mel stated that it was season 5, and she looked shocked. But anyway, moving on. I know that a lot of commentators and bloggers already did, they already did their commentary around the episode, but so I waited because it was just, a lot going on. There was a lot of lives and everything, so I just waited. In my commentary today, I'm not going to be breaking down the whole episode. I'm just going to be doing it in little segments. And so I'm going to start off with Kimmy and Mel when they met, because that's actually how the season starts. So I'll do pieces, and that's how I'm going to move through the episode. So Kimmy and Mel, they do meet over at Kimmy's house. Mel went over to meet with her and to congratulate her on getting through this part of her journey. She's through the chemo portion. I have to tell you that I was personally happy to see the two ladies being cordial and talking. And Mel mentioned that they were friends. And she also mentioned in an interview with Carlos King that when Kimmy first came on the show, she told him that she wanted this couple to be on the show. She wasn't really sure that there was something between her and Kimmy, that they weren't friends, but that something was there. So I'm glad to see that they're moving through and establishing their friendship. I hope that they continue to be friends because I actually like the energy between the two of them, or at least what we saw in this particular scene. So it's in this scene, there's Mel, Kimmy, and Maurice is sitting there. I have to tell you, Maurice being in that scene with them just seemed a little aloof to me. He just seemed to me, in my opinion, out of place. Um, I don't know. It was just something about it. And I don't really think that he and Mel talk that much anyway. So anyway, they're there, and Kimmy proceeds to tell Mel that she would like to have a celebration just to celebrate that she's through this part of her journey. She still has to go through radiation, and she still has to have surgery to remove the area around where the tumor was. Maurice doesn't want her to have this celebration because he doesn't want her to overexert herself. Mel was able to convince Maurice that it wouldn't be that much stress on Kimmy. She was going to take care of everything, and that there wouldn't be a need for her to overexert herself. So he concedes, and then he leaves. Then the ladies go through a role play practice because, of course, Mel's going to have to call everyone and invite them, and she hasn't seen everyone in a while. And you know how it left at the reunion, how things left off at the reunion, and how heated everything was. So she hasn't seen everyone in a while. And so they go through a role play, they practice. Later on, Mel proceeds to make the actual phone calls. She calls Tisha. Tisha's shocked. She concedes to come. She calls Stormy. Stormy is shocked, but that it's Mel. But to me, Stormy was being really extra. But anyway, you know how Stormy is, allegedly, right? She was being really extra. She calls Martel, and he's shocked. He's shocked because he and Mel they don't talk on the phone. And Mel said that before, that they don't talk on the phone, that she emails him when she has to communicate with him. And this is the whole reason why she has the burner phones. Well, the real reason is because allegedly her phones were hacked by him. So her phone was hacked by him. And she kept saying that she had to change her phone number, etc., etc. So anyway, he's shocked, but then he proceeds to ask her if she prayed the prayer. And she tells him no, she hasn't. So we move on. We get to Kimmy's event. Everyone's in pink. Tisha walks in. She has on some orange outfit. I just couldn't take my eyes off Tisha because she stood out like a sore thumb. I'm sorry, Tisha, but in my opinion, that whole outfit was a no. And then and maybe it was the color that threw the outfit off. Maybe it would have looked better in another color, but I mean, the outfit was just given a big no. I mean, just the whole look to me was given a big no because um, she had these little diamonds on her bottom lids, and it just looked weird to me. Anyway, Tisha liked it, so that's all that matters. But the fact that she was in a total different color from everyone else just seemed a little off-putting, in my opinion. But anyway, so we're at the event, and everyone's walking around talking. Stormy walks over to Mel, and she tells her she wants to talk to her. So she pulls her away. They go, they talk, and this whole thing is about why Mel hasn't called her in a couple of months. Oh my God. And so Mel goes on to explain that she's busy, that she likes to take time to herself, that she's changed she doesn't have the same phone. I mean, she even said, did you not notice that it was a different number that I called you from? I mean, you even asked me if this was my number. And she said, yes. So anyway, she proceeds to tell Stormy that, well, you could DM me. And she's like, I don't DM my friends, with the Stormy attitude. And okay, so we move on from that. And then we move to where Martel comes up to Mel and he asks her if she said the prayer. And I'm like, oh my God. So he's telling her about this prayer. Later, he asked if he could walk her to the car. And, I did my whole commentary about that and how I felt that it was wrong for Lou to kind of. I knew he was trying to calm the waters when he said, look, he just wants to make sure you're safe. But there's something, allegedly, and in my opinion, and we've all been saying it, there's something off with Martel. And I could really see it in his eyes. I can really see it in his eyes now. And in that scene, I could see it in his eyes. And to me, it's more than just stress. I feel that he's living in a different reality. So he's created a reality in his head, and he's really trying to live that reality without acknowledging what's happening in the real world and paying attention to the signs that the real world is giving him, that his relationship with Mel is over and it will be no more, and totally ignoring the direct messages that he's getting, that relationship is over and it will be no more. He's holding on to hope. And that's the whole thing about the prayer. He wanted Mel to pray about them getting back together. And so, you know how they do these little outtakes after each scene where the cast member will go back and reflect on the scene. And so when Mel was doing her outtake, she actually said that she told him she would do the prayer just to appease him. And I understand that sometimes we do things just to get people to shut up. Sometimes we do things just to get people to go away. Sometimes we do things just because, we'll say, okay, just because I'm sick and tired of you. I get that. But you cannot do that with a person like Martel, allegedly, and in my opinion, because doing things like that, he holds on to that. Like he doesn't, he holds on to that. So the fact that you said you were going to pray, he's gonna, that's why he's hounding her. Like, you said you were gonna pray. You promised me you were gonna pray. So he's gonna have a problem with that. And he's gonna continuously hound her about that until she says, no, I'm not going to pray. I'm not going to do this prayer. Because she actually says in that, I think it was in that little outtake where she said, God Ben said, go. God delivered me from the lion's den. I feel that that's what she just needs to tell Martel. I'm sorry. This is just my opinion because I feel that it's a dangerous game. And I'm not saying that Mel is playing a game, but, and like I said, I do understand that sometimes we do things just to hush people up and just to get them to go away. But then there's the flip side, and that's his reality is not reality. He's holding on to the fact, or not the fact, he's holding on to what's going on in his head. And the fact that you said you were going to pray gives him hope that you're going to pray and hear the same answer that he's hearing. I mean, I would just prefer if she said, I did say the prayer and God said go. To me, that nips it in the bud as far as that's concerned. You said the prayer. My answer is not the same as yours. I feel like that would have been better. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. It's just based on what I see happening with Martel and, how volatile his behavior has been in the past and the things that we've seen play out on social media. And speaking of the interview, Mel and Carlos King did an interview, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I actually enjoyed the interview. Um, I think I enjoyed the interview more than I enjoyed the episode. But anyway, I digress. Um, so doing this interview, Mel says that there was a time when she wanted to walk away. And Carlos said, walk away from the show. And she said, yes. And she was alluding to the fact that there were times when she didn't feel comfortable. And allegedly, it's the behavior that we see coming from Martel and the way he antagonizes her and things like that. And then Carlos said, well, you never told me about it. I have a whole entire problem with that, with his statement, you never told me about it. Because, first of all, Carlos, she doesn't have to tell you. I mean, you sat on that stage at the reunion crying the big ugly tears because you were so concerned and upset about the way Martel allegedly behaved behind scene, the alleged blow up. You were so concerned, it shook you so much. So you already know what his behavior's like. Not only that, I'm sure you watched the episode, so you've seen his behavior all the way from Vegas up until now. In addition to seeing how things play out on social media, on top of the fact that you are now a blogger, so I know you are listening, or I'm sorry, yeah, listening to commentary from different bloggers where we're all saying that it is a dangerous situation, it's a hostile work environment, and that he should be pulled away from the show. I know you've seen it. So even if Mel didn't say anything to you, you should have said something to her. And so I feel like that was just kind of lame on your part to say, Carlos, to say, you should have called me. No, or told me. You know, Carlos, just like the rest of us. So, anyway, guys, that, like I said, that interview was interesting. If you didn't see the interview, you should, because there was, to me, a lot of revelation in the interview. Again, I feel that Martel should be taken off of the show. He shouldn't film next season. I know he needs money because, like we all do, right? So that isn't the point. But he needs to be healthy and he needs help. And allegedly, I know that he's getting therapy. But in my opinion, I feel that with all the years and all the stuff and all the trauma, that there's a lot of uncovering that has to be done, and it's not going to be done in just a season. Someone mentioned that maybe he should be put on a leave of absence with pay. I feel that he should be put on a leave of absence with maybe some pay, but not the amount of pay that he's getting now. Maybe cut it in half or less than half. Because to me, that's just like, appeasing him again. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting this money and I can still act a fool. Some feel that he should be put on a leave of absence without pay. Um, I just feel like something should be done. And that is all the commentary I have for you today. My allergies are really, really getting to me. So I am going to cut this right now. Like I said, anyway, I was going to be doing my review of that episode in bite sized pieces. So this is what I have for you for right now. If you haven't done so, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell because I will be back. Until then, ciao.